Hello, welcome to Pixeltest. We are on a mission to upskill 1 million AI scientists and Web3 engineers. My name is Sabyasachi, and let's get started with Python in 10-minute series. In today's session, we are going to continue learning fundamentals. And in that, we are going to cover strings. So we'll learn how to access characters of a string by index and a few methods of strings and how to format strings. So let's understand what is index, right? If you break down a string, the characters of the string are numbered, and these numbers are called index. Each number is called the index. Now, if you see in this Python, the first character P is indexed as 0, and subsequently 1, 2, 3. That is how it goes in an increment of 1. Now, if at all you want to know what is the fifth letter of this particular string, you would need to access the character which is at the index 4. Now, let's just say, try to do this with an example. Now, my collab is ready. Let's just say there's a variable that we have defined, which is called the first letter, and then there is string. So now how do we access a particular character in the string is with the index. Now we open a square bracket, the index number. Now if I give 0, it will pick up the first character, which is C, and save it in the variable first letter. Let's try to print first letter, right? So now the output will be C. So let's look at the assignment. We have to define a variable which should save the fifth letter of this string called Monty. Now, if the string is Monty, double brackets, now we need the fifth letter. Now, fifth letter means the fourth index because it's starting from 0. Now, if you give it 4 and we try to print the fifth letter, it is going to give us Y. Now, let's move on to the next thing, which is a few methods of the strings, right? Now, these are very straightforward. Let's directly get on to the assignment. Let's go into the code. Now, the first two methods that we are going to see is length and string, len and str. Now, they have already given us a variable which is word. It has the string exhibition into it. Now, if at all we want to know the length of this particular variable, we will just pass in the variable and then print the variable which is length. Now, when you print it, it will give the number of characters that this particular string had, right? Now, even if you look at trying to use the second method, which is str, let me show. We have already seen a little about it. Now, we have defined a variable which is pi and given it a numeric, a float 3.14. Now, if I'm trying to print this, it will give me an error because this is a string and we are trying to concatenate it with a float, right? So now how do you convert this into a string, right? So now you use the method str, and let's try rerunning it. The value of pi is around 3.14, right? So now we have successfully converted it into string, and then we got concatenated with the string given. Correct. So now let's move on. Now, if you see, the next methods are also fairly simple. Let's come here and let's see what we want to call lower and upper methods using the dot notation. So let me tell you what is the dot notation. Now this word variable has the string exhibition, and if you want to have the whole of the exhibition in lowercase, now you can see that E is capital right now. If I'm going to do word dot lower method, if I'm calling this method this and I'm trying to print it, this is going to give me this word in lowercase. Now if you see, this method is called using the dot notation. This is called the dot notation, and the dot notation is used for strings. Why we have not used length and string like that? Because it can also work with other data types, but lower and upper work with strings alone. So that is why we are using this dot notation. And if I'm going to print it, it's going to give me in all small case. Now if I'm going to use the same with the upper method, it's going to give me the all caps. Let's move on. Now in strings, if we see how to format strings, we have seen earlier how we have concatenated a variable with a string by converting it into a string, but there is a better way, right? So we use this percentage operator here and do it. So let me show it to you. Now there are two strings. The first string is red light and second string is green light. Now we want to print a statement which says go when it is green light and stop when it is red light, right? So how do we do that without trying to concatenate in a complex way, right? So this is how we do. Now we have this whole strings stop when it is a, now this is the placeholder. Here we are going to use this %s and replace it with red light, and then go when it is a %s and replace it with green light. Now how do we do that? So we write print statement, then write our string and put the placeholder %s wherever we want the variable, and just after the string we put the operator % again, and in brackets comma separated we are going to write these names of these variables, write these variables. Now how this will work is print stop when it is and it will start looking for the variable here after the % operator and replace it here, and then go when it is then again it will look for the second variable in this particular brackets and replace it. So let's try doing it. So this is how it will work. So stop when it is a red light and go when it is a green, right? So this is how, let us try to do a little assignment. Now we have been given three variables, which is name, quest, and color. The name is Pixeltests, the quest is teaching Python, and the color is green, right? So now we have to print. So your name is here, there is a blank. We need to bring what is that we need to be adding here is %s. Your quest is the second variable %s, and your favorite color is %s, right? So now let's put the brackets here, and then here there is another blank. Here we are going to put another %, and name, quest, and color will be replaced. The %s will be replaced with name, quest, and color variables, whatever string is there in that particular variable, right? So it will not give us an error. So this is how we format our strings. This brings us to the end of this session. In today's session, we have learned and progressed a little more in our Python journey. In our next session, we will see how to work with date and time in detail. So link to the free email course of Python, the code snippets and notes for today's session are there in the description. If you liked this video, please drop the top 3 learnings in the comment section and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.